Greetings, peace and love. I am Sister Alexis of Divine Notary and Notary Wellness Mentor, coming to you with another video. The reason why I make these videos is because I get a lot of questions, emails, and messages, and sometimes the best way to reply is just to do a video versus sending one message, one email. Then that way so many other people can view it. The question of the day is, if I'm not a real estate notary, if I'm not a signing agent, what else can I do? So I've compiled a list of 24 different things that a notary can notarize that is apart from real estate documents. So number one, wills. You can do wills for someone who is living naturally, or someone who's young, someone who's old. Either way, you can do wills. Power of attorney. You can do all different types of power of attorney, and there are various types. You can familiarize yourself what types of power of attorney, limited, durable, all different types of power of attorney. Research. This is this to be a notary, sometimes it's hard to say that you're going to know everything. You know what I mean? But you can focus on what you know, and then what you don't know, you can research. Insurance documents. You pretty much name it. There, as a notary, you will need to be involved in some form of insurance. Non-real estate contracts. Okay, so really that rental agreements you can be involved in. Sometimes they need to be notarized in certain states. Every state is different. So just knowing your state's procedure would be beneficial to you. Letters about residency. Letters regarding support. These are considered sworn statements. So any sworn statement, generally it's like somebody comes in to have a handwritten letter. They think you're notarizing the letter, but you're just notarizing that it's a sworn statement. Sometimes that letter could be based on identity too. So not identity, a signature. So you could be swearing that, or you could be swearing that you saw their ID in their signature affidavits. Immigration papers. At one point or another, you will, the person dealing with immigration, whether it's an I-9 form or anything like that, they need us. Witness signatures on various documents. So kind of added that in with the sworn statements, but signature affidavits, witness affidavits on various topics. It's hard to say what aspect, but say for instance you are looking to start your business and you want to put services down, you would just do, signature affidavit. Trust funds, that I get a lot. Trust fund information, and you just notarize that. Bill of sales, titles will need to be notarized in certain states. So if you're like, I realized I was talking to someone the other day, a mentee, and it was her first, she was on phase 1, and I said to her, have you ever sold a car? And she was like in her 40s, and she was like, no. I was like, oh wow, she's purchased a car, but she's never sold it, I gather. I don't know. I didn't get too far into it after that, but if you've ever sold a car in certain states, whether it's a car, a boat, a truck, a moped, a motorcycle, anything that has a motor and that needs to be registered to the DMV in certain states, you need to notarize. So you're not notarizing you are notarizing the actual document, but what you're really doing is notarizing the signature. Court documents. Lots of court documents. You are well needed in the judicial system. And what I've done, which when I first started this process, I didn't know anything about it. I would see like witness deposition and things of that nature, and I would think, I get what that means, but I didn't get how our role was impacted or how it was a part of the process. So now I get it. So now it makes sense. So what that means is you can have a client come to you and say, hey, I need a paper notarized. And you're like, okay, cool. But she's like, well, I need it notarized after my court hearing. And you're like, okay, cool. And the court hearing is on the phone. Okay, cool. And I need you to sit through it with me. Oh. So you might get someone that says, I have a court hearing at 12 o'clock. It's a family court issue, civil court matter, criminal matter, whatever it is. And I have this paper stating that I appeared at the court hearing and I need you to notarize it. And so majority of the time the court hearings are kind of short, but you can estimate, a 15, 20 minute, 30 minute hearing. It depends on how long-winded people are, but the lawyers involved, the judges involved, they're not trying to be there all day. So usually they want to maximize their time and minimize their time at the same time. So try to get everything that they need to get into those conversations that's prevalent to the case and then get up out of there. So you will have to encounter certain situations like that. So you can brand yourself as someone who does court hearings, or while you're doing it on your website, that's something that you can consider when doing so. Vaccine exemption letters. Some of you know I'm anti-vax. I don't vaccinate my children. My eldest is 14. My youngest is 11. I got married really young, stayed married for like 12 years, and never vaccinated my children. So every single year, I need someone other than myself. Usually I use my mom now to notarize a letter for me stating that I don't get my children vaccinated and that I am excusing the pediatrician from any legality because I am fully aware of what I'm doing. And let me put a note in here just in case I feel like someone is going to say something about that. Just because I don't vaccinate doesn't mean that I don't offer my children other methods of utilizing their immunity. So just want to put that out there. Sometimes people are like, well, they don't vaccinate and they don't do anything else. You have to, whether you use herbs, whether you use acupressure or acupuncture, or you use holistic vaccines, you have to do something else other than just, I'm not going to vaccinate my children. But vaccine exemptions, that's pretty big for me. I actually do that online for certain people that I know. I have a gig on Fiverr that if you need a vaccine exemption letter, I can draft one for you for your state, and you can print it out and get it notarized somewhere else. If I know you, I'll go ahead and notarize it. Property manager, property management. You are needed in that whole process at one point or another because you deal with a lot of rental properties. Also evictions. I used to be involved. I was a process server when I first started this journey, and that wasn't fun, okay? That wasn't fun doing evictions. There are certain evictions like, dude, you gotta go, because they're doing malicious activities or something like that. That's different. But when you have to evict someone and their family just because of non-payment, because maybe someone lost their job, and that's really, really, really hard to have to put their stuff out on the street, and they have children, and you have to be involved in that process. I don't like it, but I'm just letting you know, as any documents in regard to property management, they will need you for evictions. Debt consolidation. I do a lot of debt consolidation, and basically debt consolidation is used instead of bankruptcy. So people will come up with a plan to figure out how to pay their bills, and the debt consolidator agent will help you through that process. And within the application, they need to have at least one notarization. Credit repair too. I'm hearing on their application, I am a credit repair specialist, but I don't use it as my business model. I did that for me and for my closest friends so I can obtain the information and share the information for people. So I don't know how it is actually done, but what I've heard from someone who is a credit repair specialist with a particular company, that they need a notary. Sorority fraternity applications, I've had a couple of calls from them. If you live in a university area, that might be something that you've experienced too on their application to be a part of the sorority fraternity. They needed a notary on the application. Passport or other travel documents, as well as statement of consent. Statement of consent is for someone who is 16 or younger, or under 18, and they need permission to travel, and so you need to notarize that. And the passport application, as you know, needs a notary too. I missed one. Oh no, I didn't. Okay. Affidavit of forgery, that happens a lot, so they, maybe there was some issue of some sort in that regards, and they need our support there. Release of waivers, name affidavit. Let's say you went through a name change, which I'll be going through a name change because I'm still carrying my married last name. But within that process, let's say they ran a report from you, and maybe you've been married several times, and then they did a report on you, and there's several names that come up for you. You would just sign off stating that all of those names are you or they're not you, and who you currently are. And so that's a name affidavit. A spousal waiver, unclaimed property, which is really fun. A quick tip that's aside from this, I think it's like unclaimed funds, or unclaimedfunds.com or .org or something like that. If you just put it in search, it'll come up. A lot of people maybe you moved and didn't forward your new address, and you had reimbursement from the water company or the electric company, and they don't know where to find you. So they put the money in a specific fund for you. So go and check unclaimedfunds.org or .com and check to see if your name is under there. You don't have to pay for it. So if you go to a site where you have to pay for it, you're at the wrong site. So go to another site, because I had money in there. My parents had money in there. I know so many people had money in there. Mine was from a cable company. I got a reimbursement for a cable company. Girl, boy, it was over $100. So it's a nice little surprise. My friend, she lives in South Africa. I just so happened, I don't know, I was curious, for my friends. I was like, I'm not giving y'all money. Not like that, but you know what I'm saying. So let me check for my friends to see if they have some unclaimed funds. And some of them did. And it was, for some of them, it was a lot of money. So you never really know. So unclaimed property, you will need to, you need a notary in that process too. Modification agreement and compliance agreement, whether you're dealing with any form of business, and a compliance agreement may come up and stating that, you're complying with this company for X, Y, or Z reason, and they need us. They need us. So this is 24 different ways a notary that is not a signing agent can get business. And these are the type of forms that they would sign throughout that process. And this is just 24. This is just 24 for video's sake. We're already at 13 minutes, but it is useful. You can brand yourself for doing one or all of these things, put it on your website, and allow people to call you for different reasons. And mind you, I didn't even put the photo inspections and property inspections. So that would be 25 and 26. Photo inspections and property inspections. That's a big one that you can expect on the off season of notaries, because we have a peak season and then we have a slower season. So on my off peak season, I'm doing a lot of photo inspections and property inspections, and that's something that you can decide to either go into separately and take another course for that to be an inspector. I actually don't mind getting dirty. I be looking pretty and all, but I don't mind getting dirty. If you see me around, I'm what's called a bush woman. If you see me around at home in the garden, I don't mind getting dirty, but I don't want to go under anybody's attic or going in crawl spaces. I'm not doing any of that, but I don't mind going into abandoned homes and things of that nature to do different property inspections. But this is it. This is what makes you separate from a signing agent. Okay, signing agent can do all of this. We do all of this. But if you're not a signing agent because you didn't take a course, or if you didn't study, because you don't have to take a course, but if you didn't study, you haven't made yourself knowledgeable on the forms that a signing agent will sign, and you're like, you know what, until I take the time and become a signing agent by studying or taking a course, or I didn't say you have to take a course, remember that, and you can deal with all these forms of documents, okay? You don't have to take a class to be a signing agent, but you do have to have some form of training. Whether you train with me for forms, whether you train with my brother Andre Hatchett, whether you train with anyone else, but you do have to have some form of training. So these are the things that you can partake in as a general notary, okay? If you found that this video has given you any value to your life, to your business, please share it. Give me a thumbs up. If you have any questions, concerns, go ahead and put it in the description box, the comment section below. And if you're looking to schedule a mentor call with me, go ahead and go to the link. My Calendly link is up there, is available for you. You can go into the into my calendar and figure out when I'm available, and let's get it. Don't wait, y'all. Don't wait. Don't feel like you have to. I get this a lot. They feel like they have to know everything before you get started. No, because you're missing opportunities in the meantime. You're missing opportunities in the meantime. Just start. I didn't know everything when I started, but I started to figure it out. I asked a lot of questions as I went along. I did a ton of research by myself, and I didn't reach out to anyone. I didn't really have my mentor like that at first. Or I didn't utilize him like that at first, I should say, because I was really independent and I was like, I could do this. I don't need to be asking him 1,000 questions, 2020. This ain't, you know. So go ahead, take the initiative, and I'm telling you, just start. All right. Peace and love.